The Pinball Network is online. Launching.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
All right, Travis, you ready?
Yep.
Tom, you ready?
Yep.
Perfect. Here we go.
We're three guys who like to talk pinball, so we came up with a clever name. We're Joel and Travis, Tom, who talk pinball, and we call ourselves Triple Drain, Triple Drain, Triple Drain. We're Triple Drain.
All right. It's so some people may not know, like, I actually play that while we're recording, and I don't know, it kind of pumps us up. It's quite a enjoyable opening song. And
it's the only reason why I do the podcast.
Only
just
reason,
for that moment.
Yeah. Tom, it's been your ringtone for quite a while now, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, the Tom Talks would probably make a little more sense for your ringtone now that I think about it.
That'd be his wife's ringtone.
Oh, true. Yeah. Well, yeah, hope you two are doing well. I know it's been 3 weeks since the last recording we did was with Loser Kid. And that was something we talked about for quite a while, trying to arrange that. And then it just happened that, we did the Rush reveal, which was really cool. The five of us actually all watched it together. We had Zencastr open during the reveal and kind of watched it together. And then, so we were chatting it up during the reveal and then recorded that podcast immediately afterwards and talked about Rush. What's really impressive is the Loser Kid guys, Scott and Josh, actually stayed after, like the three of us hopped off, and then the two of them recorded their own podcast. So that was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 straight hours of Rush for them. So props to them for that. But yeah, what else has happened in the last 2-3 weeks? I mean, any updates with either of you guys? Game room updates? Or
Well,
I don't know.
I was glad to help you out on your stream.
I was
Since
curious
Travis
about,
couldn't make it.
Yeah, I was curious about that. So what he's talking about is I now stream every Wednesday night. I stream on the Pinball Network, which anybody listening to this, the Pinball Network, we just started our own Twitch channel, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, and it's all people from TPN. And the goal is to have somebody streaming every single night of the week. And so I have Wednesday nights. And what I also do is every other Thursday, I stream for Flipping Out, which is really neat. And so being that I knew I was going to stream on a Wednesday night and a Thursday night, what I've been doing is the weeks that I stream for Flipping Out, I do kind of a chatting stream. Just get, maybe 3 or 4 people, and we just talk. We just talk about pinball. We look at a bunch of stuff. And Tom has been on these streams before, but it's kind of late. I start streaming at 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. And so I had actually reached out to Travis. Travis was like, I'm in. It sounds good. So I had Mike from the Pinballers, Craig Bobby, Craig's always game, and then Travis. So we're all good to go. Well, this was new. I just started streaming on this was the first time we were doing a chatting stream for the Pinball Network. So I made all new graphics for it. I had everything ready. All the graphics I made for it was for 4 people. Well, like an hour or 2 before the stream was going to happen, Travis reached out and he had a family thing to come up and he couldn't do it. And I was like, crap. All right. So I reached out to Tom. Tom's like, what time? He's like, sorry, I can't do it. I reached out to like 2 or 3 other people. It was last minute. And so yeah, I had 2 options. Option 1 is I remake my graphics, which would probably have taken me, 10 minutes, so that it would work for 3 people. Or option 2 was like spend 30 minutes going through our last podcast, specifically just Tom's track from the podcast and just taking samples of him talking out of the podcast.
Which wasn't that much.
It was more than you think. It was more than you think. And my goal was to get his introduction and him saying yes and him saying no. That's all I wanted. That was my only goal. And I ended up with way more than that. Such as,
it's called a fork.
Just like random comments that aren't important. So I ended up with a bunch of good stuff. I got my yes.
Yes.
I got my no.
No.
And I got, this like, hey, Tom, are you a fan of that?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I was good to go. I was set. But then I had a few that I thought were like obvious giveaways, such as,
I'm going to bed. Good night.
that one or another one here.
Is it okay? Is it okay if I just sit here and watch?
So, I assumed sprinkling in a few of those throughout the stream would make it obvious. So I go ahead, Travis.
Please tell me, did you do a Halloween one? You had to have.
You mean this one right here?
We're not talking about Halloween.
Yes, absolutely. and I purposely made certain that I mentioned Halloween at least once. And if anybody else mentioned it, it's just like, boom, we got to get in there. And then of course I would keep coming back to overall, Tom, what are your thoughts about Rush?
This is the greatest game ever made.
So it's like,
which is true.
So I had just enough. But the selling part was the beginning, which is, I'd introduced everybody and I was like, all right, Tom, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Tom from Fox Cities Pinball.
And it's like 30 seconds of his introduction. And so I thought it was obvious, and the reality was I was working with Mike and I was working with Craig, and they knew. And so they knew to feed certain comments. I thought it was obvious. What I've come to realize was it wasn't obvious.
Travis is like crying.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, this is too damn hilarious right now.
So I learned it wasn't obvious because the next day I had a few people reach out and they're like, hey, Tom was kind of quiet last night, and I was like, are you serious? And so I streamed the next night and I asked the people as I streamed, like, hey, everybody that watched last night, how many people were on stream? And people were like 4. I was like, no, there's just 3, and just kind of showed these sound clips. So Tom, as a viewer, you were completely unaware.
The funny thing was I was viewing this in the chat, making comments. And I think the only person that really picked up on it was Zach.
Yeah.
But
Zach he didn't.
He didn't?
That's the best part.
Swore he did.
Zach, the next day on our TPN Discord, I actually wrote, I was like, hey guys, if anybody watched my stream last night, I just want to let you know, Tom was not on there. And that was all a soundboard. And Zach actually wrote like, that's incredible. You totally tricked me, and I thoroughly respect you for doing this, or respect that idea. But I was curious when I saw Tom, Fox Cities Pinball, pop into chat. I was very curious to see what your reaction was. And Travis actually shared a screenshot because apparently you messaged Travis saying, "Oh my goodness, he has a Tom soundboard." So yes, it was. It's probably the best thing I've ever done. It's probably the best thing that. Yeah, I don't think any stream will ever be as good as that one, and it was it's the gift that keeps on giving because
I'm now glad that if I cannot do this, I can fill in some way.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I mean this soundboard's not going anywhere,
Of course not.
But the reality was when I played the clip of,
I'm going to bed. Good night.
I played that at least 4 times. During the stream, and the best part is somebody. Oh, that was the other thing. On the 4th camera, I just had a static picture of Tom, and so people are like, "Hey, where's Tom?" And people in chat are like, "Oh, he went to bed," which is so great to me. And Mike's wife Lisa apparently was watching it upstairs the next morning, and she's like, "Did he not know his camera was frozen?" And Mike's like, "No, he's not there." So I don't know. Thank you, Tom, for bringing it up. Thank you also for being a good sport because
no problem.
I enjoyed that a lot. But yeah. Travis, I don't think I'm going back through though and making a soundboard of you. I'm sorry.
No, there's no need to. I'm good.
We all know people listen to this podcast for one of the 3 of us, and it's not you. So sorry.
It's obvious. I mean, we were having issues though at the beginning of this when we were having all kinds of feedback.
Yeah.
And let me tell you guys, Joel is just effing sneaky. Let's put it that way. Tom and I were already going at each other. We were blaming each other for the feedback. Joel's just sitting there, just staring at us like, I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got it all set up, and then Travis came in, and as soon as Tom popped in, that's when he heard it, so he was blaming Tom. But hey, I got it. If we got it solved.
Hey, only one of us has been on a podcast with George Gomez, so I figured the professionalism would be a little bit more.
Well, that's the worst part. Is the worst podcast I've ever filmed was the one with George Gomez, and it's because I picked the wrong mic. So it picked up my headset mic instead of my nice mic. So unfortunately, it's probably the podcast I'm most proud of. It also sounds the absolute worst. So
you're the reason that we will never get another Stern employee on this podcast again.
Okay. Yeah. His interview questions were good, but his audio quality is garbage. Yeah.
That's fair.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, to be honest, we have a few news items to get through. We just wanted to throw you some content. To be completely honest, the pinball podcasting world it's kind of drying up. There just really hasn't been much, or like episode wise. I know some people have taken breaks. There's a few that have stopped. Travis is holding his hand up. He hasn't made one. I know I haven't made a Just Another Pinball podcast in a while. So wanted to get an episode out here. Like I said, to get you some content. If you're dying for content, I know I kind of already plugged it earlier. The Pinball Network, there is somebody streaming literally every single night. All those streams are automatically uploaded to YouTube. And if you don't want to listen to somebody while they play, I do chatting streams like every other week. So there's additional stuff you can listen to. But we'll go ahead and kind of roll through some of this stuff. We'll start with the sad news. Lyman Sheets, arguably the greatest pinball programmer, of all time, recently passed away. And he was young. I think he was somewhere in his 50s. And that was what's surprising is, well, maybe this is surprising to me, but I never personally met the guy, but this was clearly a loss that not only hit, like, that's unfortunate for pinball people, like in the potential future games that he was to make, but this is clearly a loss to the people that knew Lyman, which is a lot of people. Just seeing the posts on Pinside, the posts on Facebook, to be 100% honest, like, I'm sad I hadn't met the guy, because he sounds like he genuinely was one of the nicest people ever, and just kind. And I don't know, I have nothing to say personal about it other than I'm bummed I missed a chance to meet him and spend time with him. I know he was an avid professional player, arguably like incredibly good a professional player. Have either of you had an opportunity of competing against him or meeting him in person?
I have not. No. So basically Lyman Sheets though was one of the first people that I knew of when I got into pinball. Because one of the things that drew me in first and foremost was once I got past just seeing a theme, I wanted to know how a pinball machine worked. And I wanted to understand rules, and I wanted to understand coding. Like, that was the big thing about it. And so once I started looking up stuff like that, I noticed pretty quickly that everybody was saying, hey, this is the person that does the best. This is a person that saved Walking Dead. And the reason why I knew about that was because Walking Dead was the very first pinball machine I ever got. So that was kind of my start. And AC/DC was one of the pinball machines that I wanted to get for a long time. So I kind of had my eye on those two. And once I learned, how great Lyman was at coding games, I started looking for more games that he was doing. And, the thing is, if you're not fully into pinball yet and you're listening to this, it's kind of hard to appreciate what his code is until you get an extreme sample size of all the different games from all the different eras. And one of the things that he was great about with pinball was that he knew how to pull something out of a game and make it more than what it probably should have been. And he makes it to where it's accessible to all kinds of different people, to all different skill sets, for tournament players, for casual players. And something like that is a hard balance to do. It is very, very difficult to do. But even more so, just seeing all the tributes pour out about him, seeing how many people are talking about how he's affected their lives, whether it's Stern employees or whether it's other people that have just met him up in New York or Illinois or just at tournaments. You kind of, it's one of those things, Joel, and Tom knows this. When you travel around to different tournaments, you start seeing the same people on a consistent basis, and you kind of get to know people through that way. And that's one of the ways that Tom and I met. And it's just, you start to build friendships that way. So me personally, I never got a chance to know him, and I always wanted to meet him, but I'm truly heartbroken for the people that did know him, that were friends and family of him, that were close to him, that had chances to compete with him. Because I don't know how else to explain it, except he was basically as much of a pinball god tier person as you could be. He was well known, well respected, and his work backed it up. And obviously his personality just in person backed it up as well. And I think that's a huge thing. And that really says a lot about the man.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's touched so many people just with coding games, let alone, is seeing them at tournaments and things like that. But I mean, he has just a fantastic list of games. He's got, Spider-Man, Metallica, Walking Dead, Attack from Mars, Monster Bash, Medieval Madness, you name it.
Yeah.
Batman 66. I mean, the guy was just a phenomenal person, in the pinball world, and such a tragic loss, such a young age. I think he was 55, like you were saying, Joel. Just, it's terrible.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just, at the end of the day, I mean, pinball's awesome. Pinball's awesome. Playing pinball's awesome. It is just a box of lights that we all love to, interact with. But the truth is that this hobby really takes a whole nother step when you get to know people in the hobby and you make friendships in the hobby and you really dive into the community of pinball and realize, we all share a lot of, the same interests. We all have this same love of a game, but yet I don't know anybody that has this is probably part of the problem, but I don't know anybody that has a collection that doesn't want to share it. Right. There probably are people, and I don't know them because they don't want to share it. But most people in this hobby, if they have a collection, if they play pinball, they want to share it with other people, and which is really cool. And there's, I don't know, there's just some really loving and caring and genuine people in this hobby. And what's really cool is it just seems like Lyman was that person, not only to other people in the hobby, but he also, just the icing on the cake was the fact that he programmed and was an incredible programmer and made some incredible games. I know I pulled up the Pinside top. This is January 23rd, 2022. If I look at the top 10 games right now, Lyman did number 2, number 3, number 5, and number 10 of the top 10. And then he did number 12. I mean, it's just like he knows what he's doing. And what is cool is his games are going to be played for many, many, many years to come. So quite a legacy that he's left, not only in product, but also just it seems like he's really touched a lot of people as well. So I guarantee there will be plenty of other podcasters, plenty of other, streamers, media people that will do stuff for him. And we knew we wanted to mention it, but it's just the truth is the three of us have never met him. And it's unfortunate that we didn't, because it truly sounds like he was an incredible human being. For sure. And I know Tom has had pretty much every one of his games. So yep. I think all I can say is that I think there's people that are already doing this. If you happen to have one of his games, next time you get a high score, go ahead and put in LFS for the initials, which is really cool.
Well, I think too that the silver lining through all this, when you try to find, I guess, for lack of a better term, the good in a tragic situation, is that it shines a light more on why we all do pinball to this extent, why we put out content. And, I'll be flat out honest with everybody out there and with you two. The reason why I prioritize this even over my own personal podcast is just because I enjoy getting a chance to hang out with you guys. This is almost like our poker night, and even if we only had 2 listeners, that might be 2 of our wives, and one of them's obviously not going to listen.
It's not mine.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a time to connect with people. And I will say, like, one of the most fun times that I know I have, and I know you two do have as well, because we talked about this before, is that just being able to go to certain events or expos or whatever you want to call it, and just being able to meet people and have people come up. It's humbling, but at the same time, it's great to get to know somebody and hear about their collection and hear about what they're passionate about. And I think at the end of the day, that's what I'm seeing most out of this, is people are sharing different Lyman stories, and you're discovering that these people aren't just in one spot. They're everywhere. And there's so many of us out there. And the reality is that that's what makes this hobby go. That's what truly makes this a special thing. And that's what gives reason for us just to enjoy the hobby together. I mean, that's about as positive as it can get, just having great human interaction, even though Joel is sometimes crazy. But outside of that,
Wow.
like that's why I love doing this with you guys. That's truly why. So
Yeah.
the love fest is done though with you two.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll tell you, Travis, if you ever really get lonely, you just make yourself a Tom Graf keyboard, soundboard, and
Oh my gosh.
it's great. You're never alone again.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm going
Is
to
it
take that
okay?
sound.
Is it okay if I just sit here and watch?
See, I'm
I need
telling
to
you.
take that with me to INDISC is what I need to do, because nobody will know the difference. I could really throw some people off. Like if because Neil's going, right? Neil's going to INDISC, so I could have a soundboard with Tom and play it behind Neil who he's in line, and that might fire him up. I don't know. It might throw him off his game. I don't know.
Neil still talks about when I was streaming that tournament and I was yelling help because the flipper button wouldn't go in.
Yeah.
And you should play that by him because he's like, Dad, I thought you were getting stabbed or something. Because he's like, the way you were screaming. And I'm like,
I sent that clip to Joel because that was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I wish I had it prepared, but I don't have that clip. But yes, there is I'll find it, and it's your flipper button was stuck, so you're trying to cradle
During
up
a
with one
multi-ball.
flipper.
Yeah.
You're yelling for the technical director and help.
Well, it was during the finals, wasn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it was the semifinals. And,
It was Star Trek,
and like,
wasn't it?
Yeah, I started multi-ball and I'm like, what the hell? I can't push the button in. and all these balls are like whizzing by the flipper and it's stuck down. It's not because of the button. I can't press it in. People are probably like, why the hell isn't he flipping? And then
I
he's
just love
screaming
this.
for help.
I love the sequence of it because you were intense, then you were excited because you got into multi-ball, and then you just saw despair hit, and then you realized it wasn't working, and you started yelling. You're like, help, help. And then all the balls drain, and then you just hear Tom go, son of a bitch. And he's just like pointing at the
The best part of it was I literally unstuck it when I got pissed off and hit the side of the cabinet. And then it's like, well, nobody's going to believe me now.
Yeah. Oh, it's on stream. It's pretty great. It's
So what was the ruling on that? I assume you got a comp ball, right?
No.
Oh, no, because you
didn't go to
unstuck it, right?
We did, yeah. And then Thorn went over and checked it. And
I
I'm
was about to
like,
say.
I could have went to the video, but at that point I was like, I'm not even going there.
Oh my God, this makes it so much better.
So does pinball streaming? You don't have so many challenges, you can't you can't pull the flag out of your sock and challenge go to replay.
Well, so here's what the rule is, I think, Joel. Here's what I think it is. Whenever you have a flipper button that's stuck, I think the TD is allowed about 3 minutes of time just to shotgun the flipper to see if it sticks. And if it does, then they can make their decision afterwards. So obviously with Tom hitting the button or whatever hard and unsticking it, then as soon as the TD comes over, they're going to find that, hey, it's not stuck at all. You just sucked at multi-ball. So, But yeah, I think they have used the stream sometimes. I mean, not at District 82, but other places. I'm sure they've used the stream in order to determine what the score was or what the
we had the
situation of the game.
We had the situation on Bram Stoker's Dracula where Luke somehow got the ball out of the mist lock.
Yeah. Oh, he wiggled it out.
Yeah,
which is actually legal, I believe.
Yes,
and I think it was declared not legal. Correct.
I believe so. There is a rule on there now in the IFPA rules. I'd have to look it up, but it might be illegal now. To
really?
Steal that.
So Luke screwed it up for all of us. Thank you, Luke.
Think so.
Yeah.
I'll have to reread it.
See, Joel, this is the rabbit trail that we go down, or whatever you call it, the rabbit hole. Yep.
Well, and hey, it's a great transition because the very next thing on our list is actually INDISC. So I know INDISC is I don't know, probably. I mean, it's no super series, but is this like top three?
It's a
three,
major.
top three?
It's a major.
It's a big deal.
It's so good.
And this is run by Carl D'Angelo, right? I mean, I think
And Jim Belcito
yeah.
and Bob Matthews, and then there's a slew of other people that help. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
If Carl's name is attached, then it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and it's going to be done well. I don't know. I'm assuming Carl will stream it, so I'll be happy to watch it in person or live or afterwards. But I don't know, for you guys, I know INDISC, there was a bunch of drama associated with this because it was the original location. Weren't they moving to another location, and then that location they had to get rid of it because it was a weed farm, or I don't know. It was like a big deal, and then they sold a ton of games. So then there was questions whether or not INDISC was even going to happen, and I don't. So how is this kind of a miracle that it's happening? And then how is it happening? And where are these games coming from?
Collectors, basically. I know Jim Belcito, a lot of his games are going to it, but
neat.
What's that?
I said that's neat. I mean, that's cool that people are like.
I thought Joel said me.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said too.
Yeah,
like what?
I'm
Your
shipping
Ninja
my
Turtles
TNA.
is coming there?
My Turtles and TNA. I'm shipping them out. Yeah.
But
The funny part is there's actually a Ninja Turtles that's going to be there too, Joel.
Well, feel free to listen back on Triple Combo, and everybody can learn how to play it. It'll be great.
No, nobody listen back to that. No, nobody's going to INDISC.
Well, and obviously, Travis and I haven't seen the location, but it sounds like the location is going to be pretty cool. Couple of the hotels are nearby, which when it was in Banning, nothing was really nearby the museum. So, and restaurants and things like that. So I think it's just going to be a better overall atmosphere for the show.
Yeah,
That's
I think the place that it's at's the Riverside Convention Center. I think it is. And it's attached to another show that's called the Festival of Fights or something like that. I guess it's just video game fighting. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it too much, but there's other stuff that's going on right now. But no, it's a big deal that this tournament is happening, though, because in the way that every pinball tournament's going right now, obviously Pinburg is gone, and there's been a lot of other, with Papa leaving and Replay FX, that left a major hole in terms of some of these big tournaments. And a lot of us, once we saw what was happening with INDISC or with where they were with the Pinball Museum, once that all kind of exploded, because we were all fired up that they were moving to the new facility. I mean, we already had it figured out. Here's the airport we go into. Here's the Airbnb we could all stay at. There's everything around here. It's all within walking distance. And then all of a sudden we see, well, wait, that's not going to happen. And we all legitimately had just like that, oh shit moment. Like we're in danger here of losing a major tournament again.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that right there, to me, it's amazing that Carl, Jim, and Bob and everybody else, that they were able to get this back together and get it to where that they did not miss another year, because they could have easily just said, you know what, this is too much right now. We need to figure this out. Let's take a step back, because obviously 2021 was canceled, but they made it work and they decided, hey, we're going to put this on. So they're joining up with, I guess it's Festival of Fights or whoever else it could be, because usually this tournament is in January and it's about a month after it usually is here in early February. So I think that it's amazing that they were able to get it all scheduled. And I know that there's a lot of people fired up to be able to go play.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tom's, I mean, this is, I feel bad for your heart, Tom, between the Rush LE, like the Rush reveal, and then the sleepless nights of just waiting in your bed, for your Rush LE. And then on top of that, you got INDISC coming up, and knowing that your son is ranked higher than you. It's just like, how are you doing?
It's a tough life, Joel.
INDISC,
no, I'm excited I'm really excited for INDISC. It's going to be fun just seeing everybody at a major event again. That's the big thing.
It's going to be super stressful too. But let's face facts, Tom.
This is not an easy tournament. This
No.
is not an easy tournament.
This isn't a Joel comes in here and just dominates Led Zeppelin tournament.
Yeah.
No.
Oh boy, I can dominate one shot on Led Zeppelin. That's
Joel,
I got one shot.
Do you remember what a Papa card is, Joel?
No.
You don't remember at all? You want to take a guess what you think it is?
Papa card. Is this where like you have
Papa, P-A-P-A, Papa.
Pinball, Professional Amateur Pinball Association?
Ding, 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 ding.
Well,
Hey.
yeah, well that's good,
Okay.
but what is a Papa card? At a
Is
tournament?
this
Like-
one of those where you can? It's like you have to play so many games to qualify. It's like so to get a card, 5 games. That's what it is, and it's 5 in a row. So you could have 4
Yes.
amazing games, and then if you bomb on your 5th game, you
It could
basically
hurt
trash your
you.
card, or you risk it, or you have to buy another card, right? Or you try
Oh,
again.
there's going to be a lot of voids and a lot of
Okay,
budgeting
so-
and a lot of blowing up budgets.
So last time, this was what surprised me, right? We talked. What was it? Free Play Florida. You were what was the terminology there? Where you had so many
Pump and dump.
plays, pump and dump. That's what it was. And Travis was the idiot that bought way too many plays and didn't need them, right? That
Yeah,
was,
I had to waste a lot at the end. Yeah.
So realistic, like a card here. What does it cost to do a card?
I think it's $20 for the main, 15 for classics, and then there's a high stakes, which is $50 a ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's 3
Well, there's also a women's tournament for 15, and then a Target Classic Match Play tournament.
Yeah.
That's
and
on the first day.
And there's actually 2 classics tournaments.
Oh, okay. So and are you the two of you planning on doing all of it, but the women's?
I'm not doing the Target match play. I might throw a ticket or 2 in the high stakes, but I'll probably do the 2 classics and the main. Well, I'll do the main for sure.
So last time it was what, like Travis, you spent a few $100 on your pump and dump. What you're saying, $20 a ticket? Like, do you remember last time? How many are you talking? Like 5 tickets? Are you talking
More
20 tickets?
It depends how well you do. I
Yeah.
mean, there's obviously with everybody flying out there, there's nobody that's going to just put in 3 tickets and just say, well, I tried.
Keith Elwin.
Oh yeah. It may be like Jared August
one
or somebody
ticket
like
and he
that.
walks
Yeah.
off. I'm done. See you guys on Sunday.
But the reality is that they typically have these games set up very difficult. And even if they weren't set up difficult, there is a lot of pressure to perform on that game because you can't take any balls off. Like if it's a pump and
Yeah.
dump and you mess up ball 1 and you mess up ball 2, you're just kind of like, I'm playing free now and you could just, pretty much plunge and swap. But on here, it is stressful. Out of all the tournaments I played in, this is probably the most stressful one out of all of them, and probably the only one that I actually stress at because you have to perform for 5 straight games and you have to be very strategic about which games you pick and when you
Right.
pick them. Because one of the games a couple of years ago was Rescue 911. And this is hilarious because I was talking with a few people about that game before we went out there. And I told them, I said, this is going to be the one game that people will discover that they can repeat a shot over and over again with multi-ball. So if you want to try to get a good score on it, play it early on before word spreads. And sure enough, I remember this because even myself and Colin McAlpine, and I don't know if anybody else was with us, we went out to the main floor just practicing that and just kind of learning where the ins and outs are. And then sure enough, word starts spreading around. People started putting up a few billion. But the problem was those people were like Keith Elwin and Kaylee George and Zach Sharp. And
Yep.
these are games that were lasting 30 plus minutes.
Wow.
I mean, I got in the queue and I was thinking to myself, okay, this is going to just be my anchor game. I'm just going to put up a score because not too many people are playing it. And then I see, wait, Keith Elwin's on it still, and he's on ball 1. And then I see that Zach Sharp is in front of me. So I'm like, okay, so I'll just go use the bathroom real quick. I'll come back. I come back and Elwin's still on ball 1. And I'm looking at the queue time and it's showing like something ridiculous, like 75 minutes. And I'm thinking, what am I doing here? So yeah, so that's part of it. You have to really think about your strategy with what games you want to play at the beginning and what games you want to play mid and what games you want to play at the end. And oftentimes at these tournaments, you end up finding one game that you did not expect to be on your card. That often happens with a lot of people.
And that's what I'm hearing is it's going to be turtles for everybody this year, right?
No. Everybody better stay off turtles. That's my pin. They better
There you
stay
go.
back. I'll bring a stick and just hit everybody with it.
So you're saying the like the score is still compared to everybody else's, right? So it's like you have your 5, but it's your score on that is compared to everybody else's score. So if I don't
And
know,
yourself, if you play it again, your score stays on
Oh,
there
wow.
unless you
Yeah.
void the card. Unless you void the card, yep, your score stays on there.
But you would like if you had 3 great games in a row and your 4th game sucked and your 5th game sucked, you'd say just cancel all that, right? You'd void it, and then you're back to square one.
Not necessarily in the beginning. I mean, in the beginning, you're kind of using those to kind of feel out the games. And
Gotcha.
then, yeah. Towards
early on,
when
yeah.
it's Saturday and you're like, I got to make the top whatever 24, 40, whatever it's going to be, then you're
40.
like, yeah, hopefully.
Wow.
Then you're like, yeah, I got to void this right now and start over.
To be honest, I mean, I find this fascinating. I think that sounds really, really cool. I also know I do not think I would handle that well at all. Anybody that's watched me stream, I am so far from consistent. I mean, I have games, even on Godzilla, I'll have a game that'll last, 30 minutes, and then the very next 3 games will be, less than 5 minutes each, and it's just like. And that's, I get it. That's one of the big differences between a casual player and a tournament player. You guys are all about finding those shots, finding the things about certain games, like you're saying, Rescue 911. Find the thing that you can do safely and do it over and over and over and over again. And I just find it incredibly fascinating. I look forward to seeing this. I look forward to watching. I mean, this is I know INDISC was the tournament, like Marty Robbins would talk about that. Like there are people from Australia that'll fly over because it's California. And I know you have to be fully vaccinated to play in the tournament. So I'm curious. I hope it sounds like there's going to be a lot of really good people there. And I hope there's some people from out of country that can come in. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm not even participating in it. I got to watch it.
Are you aware of what the main bank is?
The main bank is in what games there are, or the money you win.
The game.
main
What
bank
games?
of games?
What games there are, Joel?
The main bank of games? No,
Yeah,
I don't.
the main
I
bank.
don't know that.
So it's roller games.
Nice.
And this is how crazy this bank is. It's roller games, WWF Royal Rumble, Laser Cube, Godzilla LE, Alien Star, Dirty Harry, Ninja Turtles, Party Zone, Stargate, Atlantis, and is that the Bally version, Tom?
Yes.
I don't even know. Okay.
That's the Bally.
Shadow and Frankenstein. And I think there might be a couple other games too. That doesn't sound like 18 because usually they have 18 in the bank.
And that's it. So that's it. That's all you're going to play for.
There should be more. That's 6, 8, 10. That's 12. So there should be 6 more, I would think, because I think that there was 18 a couple of years ago.
Was there that many? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, last time I did the count.
once
How
you
come?
get in, though, once you're in, like you make top 40. After that, how do they do it? They split you into 4. I mean, is it like match play after that, or?
Yeah, it's match play, but then there's double buys. So if you're way up there, you may get a couple of rounds by, which is
Gotcha.
exactly what you want. But even in the first round, it's crazy difficult. I think my first round in 2020, I had Raymond Davidson was our bus driver, so he was picking the games. And then Luke Nuhorniak was in there, and Elliot Keith, I think he's from North Carolina. He's an excellent player, usually a top 100 player out of there. So that was just the first round. And Tom, who'd you have in your group? Do you remember?
It was Sanjay. Sanjay and I got knocked out, and then it was Lonnie Landgraf. And trying to think of the other Seattle player's name is very good. I can't think of it right now.
So there's
Let's
no
look.
even first round. First round is still something to be terrified from. I mean, this is what it's. I mean, this is the best of the best, is what it sounds like. This is.
Oh yeah, these are the people
Yeah.
that made it in. You
Yeah.
know, and there was over 300 people qualifying to
Oh,
get
wow.
into this tournament. So it's not an easy task.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited, and we will definitely do another episode. I'm assuming in 2 to 3 weeks, so it'll be after INDISC, so we'll hear all about it. We'll hear about how well Neil did. It'll be really good. It'll be great.
It'll be either Tom or I celebrating our new world championship.
That's right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mr. Stone.
Yeah. Well, we have.
Watch us not qualify, Tom.
I'm not saying a word.
Dude, it's going to be difficult. Okay,
Poker
sorry, Joel.
face.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things though, and Tom kind of alluded to this, and Joel, this is super important for anybody that's listening to this that's going to INDISC. you have to really manage your time because those classic tournaments are just one a day.
Yeah.
You got to be careful to get caught up, because if you don't have a good card in main, you still got to put up a good card in classics. So you kind of got to decide whether you want to go play classics or whether you want to go play main. And you got to make those decisions back and forth after day one. You got to be really careful in that time. And so you'll see your very elite players usually get in on both, but there's still times that even a top 10 player will still fail to qualify. It happened several times in 2020. So it is a very difficult tournament, and I highly encourage everybody to definitely manage your time. That's so important. I learned that the hard way.
Can I at least eat, Travis?
No. I tell you what though, Joel. So INDISC I met Tom at Free Play Florida back in 2019. We just met briefly, and he was just a total prima donna. Didn't want to talk to me. I was like, okay, whatever.
You locked eyes. You locked eyes, and you got lost. I understand.
But it was funny. So we met again at INDISC because we had a mutual friend, Luke Nahorniak, and he introduced us. And that's when I told Tom, I was like, hey, I met you at Free Play Florida. And Tom's like, yeah, I don't remember that. I'm like, oh God, great. This guy here. So no, he was really friendly. And Tom even was watching me play a game. I forgot what game it was, but I think it was Cosmic Princess. I think that's what it was.
Yes.
And I did decent on it. And Tom was there. And he even told me, good job, Travis. He used my name and everything. I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be my buddy now. And look, we're doing a podcast just a couple of years later. Yep. Yeah. That's how it starts.
Tom's hard not to like. I mean,
I know he's a good guy.
And then we roomed together at Nationals and Pinmasters, and the rest is history.
Boom.
Just a couple of months later, we were roomies with everybody. We had like a pinball camp that was there in Colorado, and
that was
I remember
much
that.
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Everybody listening to this podcast that's new into pinball, this is what could happen to you. You could meet a stranger from across the U.S. and end up rooming with them a few months later. It's great. Yeah. All right. So our other two little things, I know we kind of have a time limit here because Travis got to go.
Hey, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Stern delays. This is a surprise, right? There's I got to give props to Zach with the Pinball Show. Zach does a really good job at giving updates on production delays with different companies.
Had to be the one title that I want,
Yeah, the one. Yeah. The one. Yeah. But Zach has done a really good job. And the reality is almost every single manufacturer is delayed in some capacity. I mean, it's just, they'll either announce a game and they're not like American Pinball, Legends of Valhalla announced, shown, don't know if a single one shipped. Cactus Canyon announced, shown, don't think a single one shipped. Fathom with Haggis announced, shown, not a single one shipped. But like Stern has always been the one that like they announce a game, the game ships. And now to be honest, there's runs of, unless you're in that first run or second run, you may be waiting half a year or a full year to get your game. But here we are. Rush announced, shown, nothing. It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and nothing. And I think they just officially announced, or it's been leaked, or it's been shown. I don't know. But like, they're not making Rush right now because of part delays. And so this is the first time that we've kind of seen even the big boys, are hit with this. And I think they were supposed to be running Rush LEs already, and I think they're running Mando Premiums instead. So Tom, how are you? How are you doing?
It's a little sad. Joel.
Yeah.
I'll live. I know I'll get my game, kind of thing. But if it's delayed a couple of weeks, I'm not gonna sweat it.
Yeah.
If it's delayed till July, I might have a temper tantrum on the floor or something.
Yeah, it's that mirrored back glass. I know you don't like to play a game unless you can see yourself in it. I get it.
Frickin' Rush, Joel.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how excited I am about this.
No, I know. I am excited for you. I want you to get the game soon, for sure.
Well, it's kind of like the tale of two things. It's very odd that all of a sudden now we see Stern kind of facing this with a new game. But obviously we have to believe that they knew that this was happening, because the other tale of the tape is the fact that they still have this whole backlog of other games that they can just immediately pivot to. to where their line is never truly dead. And in this case, they're pivoting to a game in which it came out, May of 2021, to work on some premiums again with Mandalorian Premium. Now, what I'm curious of is whether or not some of these are still for people that ordered on day one or at least the first month. Because I know I had a couple of friends that finally got their Mando Premium earlier this month, and they had ordered way back in May or early June. So, I mean, it's one of those things where they're still heavily backlogged, but this is interesting to me that the decision was made to go ahead and not delay Rush, yet you have to believe that they were kind of aware that this was going to be delayed in this way. Like, I don't think that they would announce this and just all of a sudden be like, oh, we can't get the parts in. We just got to do this. I would have to think it probably happened. And yes, Tom, I know my camera went out. I got to pay my electric bill.
So once again, everybody that's listening, you don't realize this, but Travis, he just talks so much smack, and he definitely has the most money invested in audio and video equipment out of the three of us.
And it never
and
works.
His camera turns off like at least every time we see El Gato no signle almost as much as we see Travis.
I thought my OnlyFans thing would work a lot better than this. I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the Canon product.
No.
Well, but honestly, it's good. It's good that Stern can get another game on the line, because I mean, a lot of the companies can't really do that.
Yeah, they can pivot. Yeah, it's great. I mean, so it's obvious. It's not like it has to be a unique part for that game. So it's not like, well, they're just low on their main CPU boards, because then that would shut everything down. I mean, right. they obviously the parts that are consistent with every game, they must. I don't know what they're doing, but they obviously have a constant supply of all of that. But there's got to be something, it's probably the drum kit,
what part could it be?
Bass drum clock or something, or it's probably this right here.
It's called a fork.
Yeah, it's probably the fork part, and
I don't remember what that's from.
Yeah, you were talking about the side shot, and we were like, what is that? The two up posts. What is that? And you...
It's called a fork.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it, and I was like, yep, clipped. Yep. So, I don't know, but it's coming. That's the thing. We know it's delayed, but it's coming, Yeah. It'll just be a few more nights of restless sleep, Tom, but it'll get there.
It must be the washing machine that's holding everything up.
The washing machine, time machine part in the back. Yeah, for
now,
sure.
I have talked to a couple of people that have their first impressions of playing the Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or should we just tease it and just leave the audience wanting more?
I need to
You want to know?
Tom
needs to know any info.
Tom needs it. All right. So basically what I was told was that the game, and this is kind of what we discussed while we were watching the Jack Danger stream, because we noticed, something kind of happening, that every time Raymond got up, he was just crushing shots. And then, Tim, he was doing pretty well. But we noticed when those two weren't there, that those shots weren't coming as much. And so one of the things is I was told that this plays very much like a Borg game, and no shot on there is a gimme. But if you're going to be an above average player, you're going to have a lot of fun, because it's well coded even early on, even with its release code, that it still feels like it's pretty full to begin with, and that the shots are very satisfying. But I haven't heard anybody say that they like that dead end shot where the VUC is with the premium and the LE. And that was one of our concerns with the Pro. And just kind of my thoughts on that with what I said back to other people is, I think if it's on location, not too many people are going to really worry about that anyways. But I could see if you have that at home and you're playing this over and over again, it might be one of those things that you might want to upgrade to a premium, because that was one of the cool shots I thought in the whole entire game, because there was certain things coded in to where you could just start ripping that shot over and over again and have the ball return back to your right flipper. And seeing that type of flow to me is very important as a player. And there was a lot of people reporting back to me that they didn't really enjoy that shot too much. But everything else on the game, they said that when the shots were being hit, it was a lot of fun. They didn't say it was a brick fest or anything like that. They just said it is a semi-difficult shooter. It's not impossible, but no shots on there were a gimme. Even the up the middle shot, they said if they had it to compare to something, that basically, and I actually heard 3 people make the same comparison, that the Black Widow shot on Avengers was easier than what the Rush shot up the middle is.
Wow.
which is kind of surprising. So I don't know if it was because of rejects. I probably should have asked and followed up on that. That's how awesome of a journalist I am when it comes to this thing. But, but overall, I'm excited about that when I hear that, because I don't want a pin that's just going to be an easy shooter. I want something that's going to be challenging and not something that, Tom, that we're going to wizard mode within 20 games or so. And Joel, I don't know, maybe you might wizard mode it when you take the glass off. But besides that, it's so it sounds like to me, Tom, the way that they describe it, I think you're going to absolutely love this game. And I think even if you're not a Rush fan, I get the feeling that it's going to be one of those games that grows on you. I really do. I think just the way that it's put together and the way that it came off on the stream with how everything's coded in, just the sounds, the lights, it makes sense. Now for me, it kind of still feels like might be a little too much multi-ball, but I don't know yet because I need to play it myself and find out. But there's got to be a reason that it's in there. It's just kind of discovering why it's in there.
Sure.
Did that satisfy your need, Tom?
Yes, very much so.
Tom, you need to get a Rush. You need to get a Rush Pro, a Rush Premium, and like 5 Rush LEs and just line them up.
Zach Money, I want banners, all the accessories.
All of it. And none of it's announced yet. None of the accessories have been shown. But
That's surprising because on the last few titles, I mean, right at launch, they had all the accessories. Like for Avengers they did, and for I think Mando,
they had everything but the topper.
Yeah.
Godzilla. They have not shown the side blades. They haven't shown those for Godzilla yet.
Okay.
But they have not the art blades. Yes, the side rails they haven't, and they haven't shown the topper. So
yeah.
But
I would make the assumption that Rush stuff is probably going to come out sooner than those other two.
Yeah.
I would think just because the Rush people were involved, the band members were so heavily involved, it would very much surprise me if those accessories weren't available earlier than even Mandalorian, because Mandalorian, it's still struggling just to get the connected achievements right now.
Yeah, good point.
Do you think a lot of the behind on the accessories is just what we're seeing in the market as far as, games not coming out like they should?
I don't know. It's a curious thing because I'm of the mindset that I'm very surprised that Stern doesn't have the accessories ready to go on day one, because I feel like you're getting people to purchase on day one. You're getting people to commit to the LEs. And it feels like a lot of these times, most of the accessories on a lot of previous games, they're just simply not available till months down the line. And somebody might be getting rid of their game by then. So I'm very much surprised that they're not available quicker. And I mean, obviously the reason for that is license issues, because there's some games like Avengers, for instance, they had stuff, I think, on day one, right? If I remember right, they showed the topper on day one and some other stuff.
It was all approved and made,
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of curious, but I think that I don't know. I don't think that that'll ever change just because of pure license issues. But
sure.
I mean, I will say though, so here's a free market analysis here. And Joel, follow me on this. All right.
Okay.
This is how big Rush is right now. And I was very surprised by this. I had an idea of how passionate Rush fans were, but I've been wondering this. All right, Tom.
Yes.
If they kept releasing another version of Rush in which the art package was just geared towards a certain album or even a certain band member, to where they changed something around with the art, how would that be for you? Would that be something that you would want to get eventually, or would you just be happy with the one pin that you have?
I mean, I'm pretty happy with the way things are right now, but so this might kill your market research, but yeah, I guess it depends. I'd have to see what it was.
You see what I mean, Joel? It depends.
Yeah.
Rush fans love this theme. Even Tom himself was like, "Oh, I'm going to kill it," but it depends. Like that's how big this game is. That's how big this game is.
Yeah.
We take any other game, you take any other fan base. Like for me, I love Avengers, but even if they came out with something else, I'd be like, nope, I got what I got. Yep. But Rush fans, they are die hard.
Yeah, die hard fanatical.
Yep.
what is the documentary I saw? They said it's weird. They claim that they're the largest cult following band. Like they are the biggest band with the largest cult following, if that makes sense. Like it's they're still considered almost a small band, but the people that love the band, you know, like they have the biggest, I don't know, fan base or loyal fan base, which is cool.
It's just amazing how a band that only has one top 40 hit, and I bet you neither of you could name what the song is.
I know.
What do you think it is?
Tom Sawyer. That's what I know.
No,
Nope.
it's not that. I actually know the answer. I know the answer to this.
Okay.
It's not because I
Fly
looked it
by
up.
Night?
Nope. It's not that. I know this, and the reason why
Is
I know
it the
this
one
is
Travis can't say?
no.
I'll give you a hint.
No, I know what it is.
Okay,
Because the only reason why I know this is because I watched a stupid YouTube video a couple of days ago that was talking about music history.
Okay.
And I think it was called it was in the early 80s, and it was called New
Yep, you're close.
New something man. New
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 World
good man.
New
New
World-
good man.
New World Man.
I was so close. New World Man. Yes.
Tom, can you go ahead and just sing us the chorus real quick so we can see if we know it?
You hear my voice now. I'm not going to do that.
Hey, we won't get DMCA strike. You can go for it. It's fine.
We'll look it up, Tom. It's all right.
All right, everybody just go to YouTube, look up
New
New World
World
Man.
Okay.
I embarrass myself enough on this podcast.
Now, is that song in the game?
It is not.
Wow.
yeah.
So,
It's
so
not
the
a-
band
it-
members
it's a
didn't even put that in the game.
Yeah, it's a pretty mellow song if you hear it. Yeah, it's not a rockin' song. Let's put it that way. It's kind of
All right.
mellowish.
So what about, I'm curious about this. I should have asked this last time when Loser Kids were on, but I'll ask you, Tom. What
Sure.
about Rush makes an American just fanatical over it? Because it's a Canadian band
Yeah.
that has one top 40 hit. They're, like Joel mentioned, they're considered like they have the biggest cult following there is. What about the band draws you in more than any other band available to listen to?
I just think a lot of their music and the music just kind of speaks to me. I mean, it's not like you're, there was that thread, Motley Crue. I love Motley Crue, but all their songs are about sex, drugs, and rock and roll and the devil, and Rush, they have themes like, Red Birch had a lot of their songs just have a lot of levels to them in not only the lyrics, but, just the meaning of the songs.
So the lyrics have actual meaning?
Yeah.
Like, because I've tried to listen to some of the songs, and I'm just kind of like, I'm still trying to catch on with my young self. And as the middle-aged person on this podcast, because I think, Joel, you're like 34, 3. Okay. Yeah, I was close. And Tom, you're like 38. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I know, Tom. Sorry. You're like 43.
No.
42.
45. I'll be
Son.
46
Wow.
next month.
You look
I'm an old man.
spry, though.
I
I should have known that. You're into dad rock. I should have known. But yes, me as a very, very young 37 years old, I listen to the music. I love the beats to it.
Yeah.
And I watch the music videos. The music videos to me are hilarious. Like, I love just the imagery of it, and just even watching some of the live shows, just kind of the energy they have. It seems like, and it's funny, it's just the type of music they're playing. It has nothing to do with them bouncing around the stage, but it just looks exhausting to do what they do for a couple hours at a time. And so that's why I've been curious as to if their lyrics actually mean anything, or if they just have some type of subliminal message to them that they're really meaning something else while they're saying it. Like, I don't know. Because don't they have a song about a dog or something like that? Dog years? I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. On now I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, it's dog years. See, Joel?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, dog years.
Test for Echo is the album that's on. But,
Joel, do you want to know the first 4 lines to this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please tell me.
Okay. Since Tom wouldn't sing, I'll just say this in poetry.
I'm ready.
In a dog's life, a year is really more like 7. And all too soon, a canine will be chasing cars in doggy heaven. Holy crap. I mean, come on now.
It's deep. Hey, it's
Yep.
connect, if
That's deep.
This is what gets, Tom's sitting there going, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's fine. I know, Travis, I don't really want to get into the music that speaks to you because we just don't need it, right?
Hey,
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna pull an Andy Rosa and say we need a Lady Gaga pin or anything like that. But I do prefer hip hop. I do. I like hip hop. I do. I still love classic rock. Don't get me wrong. My dad made me listen to it all the time. I've heard most of everything, and he actually did play Rush a lot when I was younger. So that's why I kind of remember some of these things. But it's one of those things that I don't know. I think the way that Stern does it is good because obviously Dad Rock sells. And I think it's very well implemented into the games. And I have to believe that, and I even told Tom this earlier on a text message, I may not be a huge Rush fan, but I got a feeling just playing this pin, it has the potential to make me a Rush fan. And that says something about what they created there at Stern.
100%. I know when I borrowed Led Zeppelin, I've always respected Led Zeppelin. I know who they are. But the more that I played that game, the more that I mean, you can really just get lost in that game. And I really like the way that Tim and Ray code it because the way the songs just flow and continue. I mean, it really, you just get lost in the music. And I all I've seen so far of Rush is the stream. But just even watching the stream, I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy rocking out to this music. And I don't doubt it at all that out of the whatever 16, 17, however many songs are in the game, I bet there'll be songs in there that I'll really gravitate towards or really enjoy. So I'm excited. I hope it only adds fans. And I mean I do understand there were games like Iron Maiden that Travis you changed all the music out in the game because it just didn't really hit you. But hopefully this is a game that people get and they're like, wow, I wasn't prepared to like this music as much as I do. So and hey, just if you're listening to this in the future, if you get a Rush and you really like it, feel free to email us at Triple Drain and tell Tom, Tom, you're right. I'm sorry that I've been missing out on this band for so many years. And how can we be more like you? And, they'll probably start asking for other advice, like fashion advice, what shoes they should buy, all the good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff like that. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. And it's unfortunate that Stern's a little delayed right now, but I have complete trust that the games will be coming and they'll be coming here soon. So hopefully some of the new stuff will get out. There's a few arcades that already have them. Hopefully a few more arcades have them, and then people can start streaming them and showing content soon, which will be good.
I get to play one in 3 days, I think. Today's Sunday, right? I'm totally time traveling.
Why would you say that to Tom?
Yeah.
That's just not very nice, Travis.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
I mean, I guess I could drive down to Chicago and go to Logan's, but I'll just wait till one's on location here.
He says that next week we'll hear. All right, I drove down to Logan's. Yeah,
I'll be walking into INDISC. Where's the Rush, Carl?
yeah.
I was about to say I would be shocked if it's not at INDISC. I'd be very surprised.
That'll be cool. One game that we can almost guarantee will not be at INDISC. This is our last topic here. This is real. This is actually a game that is coming or has already out or something. The game's called Super Hoop. Yeah. Travis just pinged me saying, I know this is supposed to be in chat. I'm not supposed to read this, but I'm going to go ahead and say he's got 10 minutes. So, and he's still typing. He said, love you guys. Don't read this, you donkey. All right. So, so we got 10 minutes to wrap this up. Yeah. You really can't read. What? Okay, anyways. All right.
Because I said, don't ready this, you donkey.
Oh, so I gave you the benefit of the doubt that you actually spelled it correctly. Don't read this, you donkey. But instead you wrote, don't ready this, you donkey.
I'm from Oklahoma. You got to make these assumptions. You got to help me out.
Wow. All right. So we'll keep it real short and sweet.
This is our podcast.
Yep.
Let's roll. Super Hoops.
Travis, you know more about this than we do just because you brought it to our attention. But I know it was streamed recently on RB Flip France. So feel free to check out that stream. Who's the company that made this?
I think they're called Quetzal Pinball. I'm probably
there's zero chance
that
you
name.
said that right. Yeah,
I bet I have it right. That sounds like a Spanish word to me. Is there a Spanish pinball design?
Quetzal?
Yeah.
It says Quetzal. I don't know.
But Quetzal?
Well, it was weird because it was funny because I was talking to you guys about this off podcast because I was aware of this game and I couldn't remember if I told you guys or not, but somehow it's like everybody else is just now becoming aware of this game, and I find the game actually intriguing. Just like their other game that I think they came out with in 2018, which was called Tokyo Drift. And I mean, they're not super intricate games, but they're interesting. They don't look bad. Let's just put it that way. And
Sure.
I think that the price point is actually right around $5,200 or $5,300 for one.
Wow.
But that doesn't include, obviously, trying to ship it here to America. So I'm not sure if anybody decides to sell that or the price might land. I would have to think it would be most likely in the mid sixes to low sevens just because of how much freight would be just to get it over here. But I mean, it's an interesting game. Let's just put it that way. It's an interesting theme. And I don't know how much people are really begging for Spanish basketball, but I don't know. Maybe they are. Who knows?
Yeah, there's somebody somewhere is the Tom Graf to as
Joel,
Tom is
Joel
to Rush.
assumes I'm going to get one.
No, what I'm saying is there's as Tom is to Rush, there's somebody that loves Spanish basketball that much that'll dive in. I mean, basketball is a pretty I understand it's Spanish basketball, but it's like it is a kind of a universal theme, right? I mean, it's like I don't know if it's
and I think I'm trying to remember the video that I saw of it because it was different than the one that RB France or RB Flip put out. And I just remember seeing the game and I remember thinking, okay, this looks like it could have some potential to be fun to shoot. It could have some potential just for the levity of it. It's just, I remember that the call outs on it were just weird. I do remember that. That's just something just felt off.
Were they not in English, Travis? Is that
no? They were. I'm pretty sure they were in English. It was just the tone of the person doing the call outs. It just did not fit the theme at all, at least in my opinion. But that being said, I think who's the ones that are making this game? Is it
you told us about the
Factory?
game?
Well, no, I'm looking at who's no. I'm looking at who's manufacturing the game. I think it's called Bitronic. I don't know.
Tom, you don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. I may be messing up.
Yeah.
The bottom line is there's pictures confirming that this game is being made. Other than that, it might be just an awesome Photoshop job, but it looks like the real deal.
No, they actually streamed it, so I would guess, feel free to check it out, and if it appears on the TWIPY ballot or the Pinball Industry Award ballot next year, hey, we mentioned it. Well, we'll have to see. Hopefully, somebody brings it in, and I'm all for a pleasant surprise. That would be great. I'm all for if an outside manufacturer produces something awesome. Like, sounds great. That
just got too many scoops, Joel. Just too many scoops.
How many are there?
2.
So 2. So does Rush have too many scoops?
How many does Rush have?
2.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Can we just call that one big scoop?
Can
we call it that?
One scoop with 2 openings? What does Attack from Mars have one scoop
does
or 2?
Raisin Bran have more than 2 scoops of raisins?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is that a cereal? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Do they have cereal in Oklahoma? I hope.
They only have Pop-Tarts.
Blueberry Pop-Tarts. I don't eat cereal, so I didn't know if that was a cereal or not. It just sounded like one.
Oh, God.
Raisin Bran? Yes, Raisin Bran is a cereal.
Tom has seen, because we were roommates in Colorado, and we've been roommates up in Wisconsin at his own house. He's seen what I eat in the morning, and it's not cereal.
I don't want to know.
Oh, Joel, you'll find out. You'll probably find out at Expo next year.
Oh boy.
Maybe
even
Texas.
Maybe even TPF. Yeah.
All
well,
right.
I can't room with him. He tried.
Yeah, he's bringing his wife and kids.
Yep. He wanted to be the little spoon. I was like, sorry, buddy.
You could have slept in the bathtub at night.
That's not a bad idea. He's only like 6'4".
Yeah. Hopefully they got everything's bigger in Texas, right? Big bathtubs. Hopefully. Yeah. All right. Well, we got to wrap this up. Like I said, or Travis so politely typed in chat he needs to end this. So I think we're gonna actually go without a Tom Talks.
Yes.
No, I got time for that.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're good.
Tom Talks. He's got something to say. Tom Talks. He's got nothing to say. Tom Talks. Tom Talks.
I got nothing.
All right, we're just gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this real short. I'll go ahead and take it, Travis, unless you have one that you're just dying to ask him.
No, I love Tom's reaction there.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
really
ruin
thought he
my
was getting.
life.
He really
Yeah.
thought he was getting out of it. So,
Yeah,
Tom,
don't
here's the
edit that
question: we have shirts for sale. We have shorts for sale on Silverball Swag. We have some Triple Drain merch,
Shirts or shorts?
shirts and shorts. There's actually some shorts as well.
All right.
So, the question is, how many shirts do we have to sell for you to actually sing the chorus of that song? Was New World Man? How many shirts in the month of February before, let's say we'll give 2 podcasts. So 2 podcasts from now, how many shirts do we have to sell? Shirts, shorts, article of clothing. How many would we have to sell?
I'd have to be
for you
100 to get me to
Oh,
sing.
100. Come. What about like 25?
All right, 25.
25. I think that I don't think it's going to happen. I think that this week in Pinball did like
It's not-
50 shirts.
Yeah.
But it could happen. Okay.
Let's just
So
do
people
two.
two.
No,
Let's
no.
lower the stakes here.
No, 25.
Two
This
shirts.
is me. You
How
want to
much are
sing?
they?
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll do 2.
Travis hasn't bought his own shirt yet. He wants to set it at 2.
I'm
25.
sorry, I'm not the podcasting type that just wears my own merch all the time. That's
Hey,
not me.
I'm good with 25.
If
25.
if I sing, not only will people cancel the subscription to this podcast, but probably TPN as well.
They'll unfollow. Yeah. Okay, 25. 25 it is. Do you have anything else to do you want to go ahead, Tom? We have to shut up here. So feel free to either talk people in or out of this happening.
If you guys love me, do not buy anything.
All right, there we go.
Tom talked. He had something to say. Tom talked. He had nothing to say. Tom talked. Tom talked.
I got nothing.
I mean, the potential, the sound clip that I could get from that, I just that'll be. I first I need to hear the song, and I'm telling you, I'm going to hear this song.
There has to be like the instrumental behind me while I'm singing.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay?
Yeah.
But we have 25 shirts we got to sell first.
What did we sell? 5?
I don't
30?
know. It's not
10?
25. We haven't sold
No.
25. Yeah. But hey,
We just got to push it more. I mean, that's the thing. Nobody wants to listen to us talk about pinball.
No.
They just want to hear us like talk about ourselves.
They
like,
just want to
and sell
torture
merch and all
Tom.
that.
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
problem.
we've just heard
Like,
what
can
I've
we do
learned
to
is
Tom?
we just added one more thing that's going to keep Tom awake at night. He's going to go, I really hope those shirts aren't selling. He's gonna be... All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here. Yeah, plugs. Travis, take it away.
Yeah, you guys can hear me on a Triple Drain podcast and a pinball podcast. Or are we a Triple Drain or
No,
the
we're
Triple Drain?
Drain Pinball Podcast.
We're not even the Triple Drain?
Why would we need a the? It's
I
Triple
don't know.
Drain. I don't think we're the.
Are we Triple Drain Pinball Podcast or just Triple Drain Podcast?
It's Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
Okay, great. Okay, you guys can hear me on Triple Drain Pinball Podcast and a Pinball Podcast whenever I decide to put another one out.
Ugh.
Thank you.
You're making me check right now to make sure I'm not actually telling you the wrong thing. But I'm pretty sure it's just Triple Drain Pinball
Hey,
Podcast.
we've only done 13 episodes over half a year. It's okay. We're working on the name still.
Sure. Yep. Yeah. Listen, it's just, there's no the. Jeez, you're the worst.
So
All right.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
Yeah. Perfect. You
Yeah.
nailed it. Yep.
There you
All
go.
right.
Let's go.
Tom.
You can find me at Fox Cities Pinball on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Tom, if you ever don't want to just, say that, let me know and I'll hit the button. I got your intro ready to go.
Just record that.
Yeah. Oh, I already got it. I'm ready. I'm good to go. And yeah, my name is Joel. I do just another pinball podcast. I haven't released one in a while. I am trying to set up another designer to try to kind of do another breakdown of some games. So hopefully that'll come together. We'll see on that. But if not, feel free to check me out every Wednesday night on the Pinball Network or every other Thursday on Flipping Out doing that stream. But yeah, really appreciate everybody
Joel
listening.
does a great job.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. That means a lot. So yeah, appreciate
Travis
you
too.
Travis
Thank you, Tom.
tries. I say
I
Travis
appreciate that,
tried.
Tom.
I don't know about you, Tom, but I think I've enjoyed that last half of this because his camera's been off this whole time.
It's kind of
Well,
weird.
What happened was I forgot to charge up the battery to the
Lord.
For the
camera.
50.
He just had his only cam session last night was longer than he expected. But all right,
All right, I'm good. Thank
Yep.
you guys. I got
Well,
another
like-
one coming up.
like always, Tom, you get the last word.
Good night, everybody.